a fiscal consolidation program, homegrown.
Yeah.
Meaning what?
Internally, let's look within Ghana, hold a dialogue on what our economy is. Let's diagnose our economy. Let's see the problems therein, so that it guides the framing of the next budget to be sent to Parliament. Because the budget is law, it becomes the working document. It gives us the economic plan for the year. So I think internal diagnosis of our country, what the problems are, what we can do, and all of that, I think, essentially. Yeah.
And this is something that is in its nature. Is he not the one who organized the National Economic Forum? The 2014 Senchi Forum, right?
Yeah.
So it is in its nature to be that. This one is not even a forum. This one is more like a dialogue, right? I mean, this one, the wording has changed. Yeah. In 2014, it was the National Economic Forum.
Yeah.
This one is the dialogue.
A few things to note in the so you see National Economic Dialogue bringing together different stakeholders to discuss. So wide range of stakeholders of different backgrounds. I don't know what will go into that, if it's going to include the minority, the majority.
I think it'll be all inclusive.
All angles. I at this point, I do not know because it's not explicit.
Otherwise, it's not national.
Oh, it can be national if it's a sample of the population.
No, but I think the opposition has to be.
So it could include government officials, economists, business traders, labor unions, civil society organizations, and ordinary citizens like you and I, who are very ordinary. So
very ordinary.
Then we move on to the true state of the economy. So it's just to have an open and honest conversation about the challenges and opportunities facing the Ghanaian economy. It might involve acknowledging problems that are often not publicly discussed, in addition to those that are publicly discussed.
Something is of interest to me, Mr. Nyako. At Senchi, there were group reports. There were 6 groups that were set up, and each brought their report before there was a consensus. Group 1, restoring macroeconomic stability. Group 2, strengthening the role of the private sector in achieving inclusive and sustainable growth and development. Group 3, key issues in economic management. Group 4, financial markets and long-term economic development. Group 5, unlocking the potential for long-term economic development. And then Group 6, post-forum implementation and communication. This is what Senchi did. Are we going to look at, is the expectation something similar or a totally different thing?
Jerry, many thanks. I am not seeing too much difference even between the forum,
2014 and this one.
No, the forum and then
the dialogue.
The dialogue.
Okay, change of.
Because
you think it's rhetoric, synonymous?
You understand, and at the end of the day, it's just a diagnosis. You know, diagnosis is good. You get to understand your problems, and then you foster solutions to it. And I'm happy with the caption "homegrown," solutions.
Not IMF.
No, not
World Bank.
Now you look at situations where you know how far you have come as a country, your problems, and then you come to understand or come to the understanding that, look, our problems are ours and ours alone. We are the only ones that can solve it. So you get to understand that if our problems are local or localized, it's a localized problem, then we of course need the local people, you understand, to come on board, Jojo, find potent solutions to it. So it is one of the best things that Africa for ages could do, which of course has not been the case. So for me, I think it is one thing that I am looking out for, one thing that every Ghanaian is looking out for, because it is that time of the period where we believe in ourselves. We believe that whatever our problems are, we are the same people who can foster solutions to solving them. You understand? But you did mention Senchi. at the end of the day, what happened? We went to the IMF. So you realize that most of the things that were tabled when we went to the IMF, they were the same things that the IMF also, gave out. So it turned out to be as though the brains that we have in this country didn't matter so much, and for that matter, we needed to import solutions from elsewhere.
I'm looking at the Senchi Accord. In fact, what name did they give to it? The Senchi Consensus. And I'm asking myself, based on exactly what you said, that what happened after Senchi? Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering that truly, it's as if this happened yesterday. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm going to read this to you. From May 13th to 15th, 2014, 140 Ghanaians representing organized labor, Ghanaian private sector, professional associations, financial institutions, security services, the judicial service, traditional leaders, political parties, parliamentarians, the clergy, policy think tanks, academia, civil society, and government ministries met in Senchi in the spirit of our shared interests and commitments for building a national consensus for economic and social transformation, as well as our collective pursuit of inclusive and sustainable development. We, the participants, further agreed on the following. Mm-hmm. 1, that the directive principles of state policy, Chapter 6 of the 1992 Constitution, must continue to guide the national development effort, anchored in a long-term national development framework with a compelling vision. Vision 2057 is there. We have it here. We always go through it. So, Vision 2057. Number 2, that the long-term national interest should supersede all other interests.
Okay.
Number 3, that the state should encourage and promote indigenous entrepreneurship.
All these things came out
from Senchi. I'm reading Senchi.
Okay. What I'm only trying to see where you are heading to. What's the point you want to make?
And promote indigenous entrepreneurship and continue to execute projects and programs commenced by previous governments. Number 4. I'm going to end on 4. Yeah. It's 22, but I'll just do 4. Foster a state whose day-to-day management is supported by a professionally competent civil service, working in an environment devoid of political victimization and intimidation, and where support for the government is not interpreted as political affiliation. I end my case here.
Fantastic.
Ima, what I'm saying is this. If I don't know when this economic dialogue is going to take place, obviously it might be next year. But I'm saying 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, we did this.
Next year, I think it's within his 90 days.
Yes, it's part of the 120 days contract.
The first quarter.
So it's first 3 months. So it's one of his. Now listen, this is where it gets interesting for me. Why do I have a feeling that we could remove Senchi, remove 2014, and put 2025, and all these consensus would still be relevant?
Well, I agree to an extent, but I have a slight differing opinion to the extent that the issues in 2010 and 2014 are different from the issues today.
Okay.
And so I like it when he says a homegrown fiscal consolidation program.
Number 3, the state should encourage and promote indigenous entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
and continue to execute projects and programs commenced by previous government.
But fiscal consolidation simply means
we spend better
efficiency in spending, reducing spending, enhancing revenue, so that so fiscal side has to do with what the government itself is going to do in terms of its spending and revenue mobilization. And so I think they just want to look at what efficient means we can use. And in this manifesto, one of the things we see is 60 ministers appointment, running a lean government.
Lean and efficient.
Yes.
It is in a 120 days.
Exactly. And I think it's something that we need. I've heard calls.
Yesterday, we did an analysis of the appointments done by Nkrumah till today.
Okay.
I think JEA...
We're even trying to situate his definition of a lean government or leanest government.
JEA did 75.
Okay.
JEA Mills, I think, from our analysis, in the Fourth Republic. Okay. Of course, Nkrumah did 40 something, and those
41.
early ones had 40s and all that. But in the Fourth Republic, JEA did 75. So you are saying he said 60, right?
Yeah, 60. He said 60.
Okay.
Just that I
so
feel
60 will make him.
I even think he can come down further.
Yeah, here we go.
Well,
because people also thought President Atta Mills could have done lower than 75.
Yes, I sincerely agree it can come down further. You know, maybe some people don't understand.
You need to merge some of the ministries.
Exactly. And it is just, some of them really can be decoupled.
Or coupled.
Or coupled, I don't know. Yeah, but you see, the real point is that the more ministries you have, the more budgets for each ministry.
Of course.
The more spending.
Yeah, because yesterday we did an analysis of the ministers' PECs and whatever, and it's a big budget.
A homegrown fiscal consolidation would mean that the solutions will be tailored to Ghanaian specific context, not imposed from outside.
Yeah, that's what I said, IMF.
Yeah.
I mean, interesting. Yesterday, I had a message from a friend who said someone has also congratulated the president-elect, and he said he's a former minister from Seychelles.
Oh, okay.
Now, let me give you his post. He was a former minister for tourism, civil aviation, ports and marine.
Okay.
Ima, did you hear that? Tourism, civil aviation, ports and marine. You are saying in Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana, these would have been 5 different ministries. They've combined all under one man.
How many? 3 or 4?
Tourism, civil aviation, ports, and marine. 4.
I am just trying to imagine.
Maybe ports and marine will be 1.
I'm just trying to imagine if it were in this
Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana.
No, in the Kufado's Ghana. In this era.
You know.
But on a more serious note, with the National Economic Dialogue, Ima did say that the situation as at 2014 or as at that time is totally different from today.
Not totally.
Very good.
Very good. I agree to the extent that some of them may have changed.
Yeah, because as you know, time keep going, there will be, you know, different problems coming here and there, and the population also keep growing. So definitely, the more your population grow, the more you have things to tackle. And I think I would want to believe that this time round, I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
I'm praying the vice president. I'm praying that the vice president goes. Because at the time, you'll be the former vice president.
Okay. So like we're doing, what are we doing? We are trying to delve into this 120-day policy.
Exactly.
You know, and it's all for the betterment of our growth and then development. So getting people, all the relevant stakeholders on board to say that, hey, this is how far we've come, and now is about that time for us to bring our minds together, bring our heads together. Everybody, I mean, this thing is not the first time. I think, it's even happened in the Bible. You understand? Where all the wise men of the land met, and it is that relevant to your cause, because you know that this is a problem that is peculiar to you. So you need your own people to solve it. I don't really believe in bringing foreigners to dictate to us, tell us what to do. At the end of the day, they have interest.
I think I need to interject at this point. I think the first time I heard it, I didn't come in. It's not as though we go to IMF when we start our government. We always go to IMF when we mess up. Simply put.
Very good. So let me.
So it's more or less like at the point where you know. So IMF is essentially aid.
Okay.
At a relatively lower cost, or in other words, that it's not like the money IMF gives us is free. It's not free, but they tell us what to do with the money.
Great.
In order to, let me not use clean up our mess, but in order to
clean up our mess.
No. In order to solve the problems that.
Great. So let me pick
clean up our mess.
Let me pick it from that end. Jerry,
Yes, boss.
What was the essence of the Senchi consensus?
He's
and then
giving you
later,
22 points.
and then later going back to that, because he said that they come in when we have, messed ourselves up. You get it. So what was
because we had challenges. He is using the mess up.
Anyways,
so did they go to IMF?
Yeah.
JDM?
Yeah.
After
the 2017, there was an IMF program.
Okay.
Just like as he's coming, there is an IMF program.
Okay.
Immediately
you hear it.
But I think that one is almost done.
Can I read this for you to explain to me and my listeners? This is coming from Senchi, point 14, under the consensus. Consideration should be given to the amendment of the Bank of Ghana Act to set a ceiling on its lending to government that is based on government's revenue collection in the previous year rather than the current year, as is currently the case. This should be separate from the ceiling on total net domestic borrowing by government. Mr. Boatin, what is the meaning of that?
I think Bank of Ghana finances some of the activities of the fiscal side, put it that way.
Yeah.
I think maybe it is worrying because that has an effect on the economy to the extent that it impacts inflation and all of that.
Okay.
And so
you're not collecting by your borrowing, so that becomes a challenge.
They just want a cap on it.
Okay.
And the rule for the cap to be a proportion of your spending in the previous year.
Of your collection.
Of your collection in the previous year.
Exactly.
And not really
the current year.
Okay. So it's just a methodology that they are putting in to guide how often and how Bank of Ghana lends money to the government. I think
government must take steps to revamp the manufacturing and agri sectors to encourage domestic production of some agricultural products.
Are you reading from the
Senchi?
Okay.
Senchi. I mean, it's like nothing changed.
Yeah.
So you mean they did all this and they still didn't go by it and all of that?
No, I'm just reading Senchi.
Yeah, I get you. But you see, when you started reading, that was the question I was asking you.
Jerry, we have the brains. We have everything that there is to have to solve our own problems.
I'm not being mischievous. I'm going to 2014. I'm reading Senchi. And then I'll just oppose it to the 120-day social contract. In Senchi, it's said here, government must take steps to revamp the manufacturing and agri sectors to encourage domestic production of some agricultural products, as well as import substitutability manufactured goods. Import substitutable manufactured goods. Now, let me go into 120 days. 120 days here says, point 6. Within my first 90 days in office, review taxes and levies on vehicles and equipment imported into the country for industrial and agricultural purposes.
Even though we are yet to get to that particular point.
Yeah, we will get there. We are on number 4. Yes. But I'm saying that if Senchi had worked, would this have been necessary in the 120 days?
It would. It would. So it's not whether or not Senchi worked. And I don't think we want to get into that. But I think I would believe that some things from the Senchi report would have been implemented. That notwithstanding.
But Senchi would be at this economic dialogue, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
this document will be seated in the middle of
it will come
2014.
2014.
Yeah, and that was a post-mortem of their first term.
Mm-hmm. Was it?
Yeah. Yeah, because they came into power in 2009.
2013.
Mm-hmm. No.
Okay, I am narrowing it on Mahama'S.
No, so
term.
Okay, that would have been just 1 year after. But 2009 was when the NDC came into power. So between 2009 to 2012 was their first term, led by former President J.
Mills.
And then now they do it. So it's more or less like a diagnosis on
their own
what they had done.
Yeah. Okay.
And for me, it means a lot of things. I don't want to get into any political dialogues. I mean, in terms of what I'm conceptualizing now. Now, this is a postmortem. This is going to be a postmortem on a different government. It has.
So the first one was a postmortem on their own government. And this one will be on a different government.
Let me chip in.
Okay, interesting.
What I am not equally trying to ridicule this beautiful thing. This is what I want to say. The postmortem they did in 2014 was out of their own, that was within their tenor. You understand? And they
were marking their own self.
Great. For me, I will always chip in the IMF issue. Regardless.
I think you don't like IMF.
Hold it. Yes. I don't like the idea of the IMF because the IMF have their own interest. Regardless of the Senchi consensus, we still went there. Now, we are going to do a postmortem on a different government. Are you getting within, let's say, the first quarter? Even in our own period, in our own tenor, we still went to the IMF after the postmortem. What is the probability that we won't go to the IMF again?
No, but right now we already, we have not completed the IMF supported program.
Okay.
So we have not. I think it will end in the first quarter or so of his government. So let's see how that goes. But anyway. I think, you see, Jerry, I think it's a laudable to the extent that,
no doubt. It is. I'm for it. Because for me, I believe in domestication. I believe in the fact that if we are our own problem, we should be the same people solving our problem. That's all about it.
Okay, it's 9:35. If you're joining us, it is still the big conversation on morning radio on business called the Business Breakfast on ZBBZ. And we're looking at the President-elect's first 120 days social contract with the people of Ghana, the document that is making the rounds. Let's move on to number 5. Within my first 90 days in office, scrap the following draconian taxes to alleviate hardships and ease the high cost of doing business. E-levy, COVID levy, 10% levy on bet winnings and emissions levy. Gentlemen.
This is something.
This was a campaign promise.
Yes. And for this one, Jerry, if the government of the day,
if he pulls it off,
if he's able to take these things off, I'm just thinking of what to do.
You will give them fans.
I am telling you, the fans, Ghanaians, the youth especially, who are highly affected by this 10% betting tax. I don't even know how betting is done.
Yeah, me too. I have no idea.
But the point is that a lot of the youth who are,
I have no idea too before somebody thinks I have an idea.
The way you're quiet, maybe you have an idea.
Everyone is speaking, so you have to.
Yes, because you also said you have no idea.
Yeah. You understand?
In fact, I am even for the tax. I know guys will be angry with me, but for me,
no. The truth is that taxes are good for development.
Exactly. No, I am for the tax to the extent that it will discourage it. That's all.
You don't like betting because you're a man of God.
No, but the point is that you being for the tax shouldn't be the problem here. The problem is the tax also affecting people who are unemployed and are getting, their livelihood out of this, betting business.
Yeah, I understand that.
It's affecting them.
I understand that.
I don't think that a lot of the youth are not getting jobs, and it's simply because they are lazy. Because you and I would agree that in this country.
But you see, there's the other side of the data where there are people working well-to-do and are still betting. And so I don't even want us to get into this because I have my subjective bias already.
No problem.
So let's not.
But then maybe we'll look at it from an angle where there could be.
I hope you're not coming into it's not a morality question for you.
Let's move on.
Okay. Sofo doesn't like that.
You get it.
So
generally.
So you think the taxes should go, and if it doesn't,
these four nuisance and draconian, as they put it, taxes should be off.
But are the president's
are we
hands not tied by the IMF conditionalities? Can you just come and you are owing me, then you can the ways in which you pay me, you say you're cutting some off.
What happened when President Kufuor came in and met?
He came to meet their. What did he do? He went to renegotiate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not tied necessarily. There is a new government. The IMF itself understands. The IMF does not interfere with the political economy of a country.
Okay.
No. So the IMF cannot tell. It does not interfere in the sovereignty of countries.
Okay. So
if bro. NOC can fire we na you. Na sikana me de ma no. Ye de so we are saying. Because we are using it to solve this problem, this is how I want you to behave.
Great.
For the problem to be solved.
And one of the ways I want you to behave is to increase your taxes.
Yes. And I am
a new
wife.
Did the IMF tell government to impose the e-levy?
Why they ask
the
me?
COVID-19.
No, so
did IMF do that?
they may tell you to raise
Because
revenue if that is.
They say raise revenue.
But the point I'm making is, I am a new wife, and I have come in. You had this negotiation with your old wife,
Okay.
who is past or who is your ex, and so
renegotiate with me.
I don't
I'm the
like.
boss.
I
I'm
don't
the
like
boss
the
in town.
terms. I'm new. I'm not a new wife, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
I get it.
but that's the whole point. It can be rediscussed.
So what we are saying is, if it is not done within the first 90 days, if these taxes are not scrapped, it isn't necessarily because IMF said don't touch it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, fine. Number 6, within my first 90 days in office, review taxes and levies on
Oh,
vehicles.
no, but there's an important point I wanted to make.
On the taxes.
Yes, on the taxes.
Fantastic.
These are revenue mobilization outlets.
That's what we are saying.
If they are going to be scrapped, I also want to know what
What
alternative measures the government is going to take.
Azui asked a similar question, I think, 2 days ago also.
I was yesterday.
Who is Azui?
Yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, my mind went somewhere else. Yeah, okay. You know, because we need to, first of all, know how much these taxes was given us as a country. What these monies were being used for. 2 questions, very important. Then we move on to see if we scrap them, what gap is created.
What hole will come into
dark.
our
Exactly. Now, if there is such a gap, how are we going to refill it?
Okay.
I think that's important. But I mean, I'm all out for the scrap because I don't like paying e-levy.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, but some economists have warned that we should be cautious of scrapping if because it's revenue.
Yeah.
If we scrap, what is going to
Yeah,
how are we going to fill the hole?
Yeah, that's important.
Okay, so that's important.
So you can move on because I had that concern.
All right. So number 6, within my first 90 days in office, review taxes and levies on vehicles and equipment imported into the country for industrial and agricultural purposes.
Yeah. I think this one is rather trying to find himself in the shoes of businesses or businessmen, you know.
AGI level, right?
Yeah.
These are people who are
yes.
bringing in equipment and they are
sure,
paying
sure.
large taxes and levies. Meanwhile, they come to use it to produce agri. And Ima has said this morning that if you solve your agri, which is your IE foods, you'll be able to hit down on your inflation.
Sure. And if the businessman suffers, the average consumer also suffers. So I think, and again, I understand that review does not necessarily mean they are going to reduce or something. There could be probabilities for adjustment and all that. So I know that he trying to find himself in the shoe because generally he's looking at easing the tax burden on the average consumer and I mean the economy. So
okay,
that it's a beautiful thing.
But I mean, vehicles and equipment imported into the country for industrial and agri purposes.
So it's
why are we not doing our own?
Assembling vehicles.
Yeah.
But the vehicles have been assembled. Okay, for such purposes, yeah. But Jerry, I
think I can do an industrial combine harvester that will suit Ghanaian standards.
We can. I would even want to argue here that this 6th point presents in itself an opportunity for businesses. Or I shouldn't have said it.
It be no.
Yeah.
If I'm a business, then I know if I find myself within the agricultural and industrial space, any kind of vehicle that serves this purpose is not going to be taxed. What should I do?
You bring in more.
Exactly.
No,
for this period.
I thought you were going to say you set up a factory that would put together these, assemble these.
That's
things.
one.
Yeah.
But 2, for the already...
Or hot, quick.
You are in business.
A lot of them, like a lot of them now.
You will bring like a fleet of 5.
There is a song.
So
Nobody knows tomorrow.
But I love that. The point 6 especially because like I did say, it's going to give breathing space for businessmen and women. I mean businesses.
But they shouldn't bring saloon cars and put them under this and change the name and say it's for agri purposes.
Anyways, I think
those things can happen, so we should be careful. But oh boy, why are we not assembling industrial?
Can we forward it up to point 8? I'm sure the question you're asking
because we should be. You want to tell me that Kantanka can't put together some combine harvesters to be used in our farming so that we don't need to go and bring any of these things anyway. That's just my thought. Number 7, and if No, in fact, I before I go to number 7, agric, what did they call it? What course? I had a course like that on campus. I'm an agric student. I shouldn't embarrass my body. Agric mechanization. Yes, mechanization. That was a course. Agric mechanization. Don't we have what happened to the Gratis Foundation and all these places where they were assembling basic equipment and all these things, so that we don't have to import a chunk of these things? And I'm sure if we give Christo Asafo and Kantanka give them a contract and said, look at this John Deere tractor and give us your own versions of it or something.
Yeah. They will call it re-engineering, but at least
anyway, it's a quarter to the top of the hour. If you're joining us, we're looking at the President-elect's first 120 days social contract with the people of Ghana on our business discussion on Business Breakfast on Z. And it's because it's business, that's why we're talking it. Here, we talk only business. Number 7, commence drafting.
I'm coming. Let me still zone in on the 0.6.
Mm-hmm.
I also believe with the 0.6, right?
Mm-hmm.
If all other things being equal, I think it will also help this man, Kantanka, because a lot of people complain that his products are very expensive. And it's probably because he does everything all by himself.
And because he's also importing parts.
You understand? So if the review would support him in a way, like government trying to hold him, like support him in terms of investment.
Yeah, think about it.
Yeah.
Vehicles that are used for agriculture and industrial purposes will be pickups as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look at the number of pickups he's done. I've seen Gatnaga pickups.
Yeah, if government is to support him in terms of investing in his business, I think it will also lessen the burden of exporting
some of these things and all
that. Yes.
Anyway, so let's go back to 7. Commence drafting needed legal amendments and prepare for implementing the 24-hour economy policy under the office of the president.
He did say that the 24-hour economy is not going to be a voluntary venture.
What do you mean it's not going to be a voluntary? It's going to be a voluntary venture.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, yeah. So that's what he said. And I believe that if they are to start it on a pilot base,
yes,
it will also
for
gradually.
Because for selected industries.
Yes.
So that those industries would then, it will cascade into other industries as well.
Because some businesses are already into the 24-hour business. So.
Yeah, but those are not the ones he's talking about. If you're already in it, why is he? He's talking about those. Well, he's being very strategic.
You are seeing a legal framework coming to back it. So already you are in it, but probably there was really no legal underpinning. Yes. But now you are going to have that. I think in addition to that, it formalizes it. I want to see really what that policy would look like. I want to see the security measures. I want to see a lot of things so that we now can see that everything has been streamlined and all of that too.
Because think about the fact that if, for instance, Terminal 3 operates virtually 24 hours.
24 hours, yes.
Yeah, because if your container comes and you have to move it to Takrady, people are leaving at midnight.
Oh, in fact, even the financial services, they do. Just that the banks will not be open.
Yeah.
But for some transactions you want to do, I mean, if I wake up
and you're going to your ATM to go and take money, you're still
that's up to you.
Yeah.
If you wake up and you want to send money to someone and
you're
the money, you can do that.
It's
so there are lots of things, but I think now, put it this way, more light will be shed on some things for exposure and to see if those things can now be put into that system. Let's see how it will go. Because I am interested in seeing the policy before I can make any constructive points.
Let me practicalize this for you. Industrial area, South industrial area, or North industrial area, both of the industrial areas, they virtually go dead after 5
p.m.
Yes. After 5 p.m. when people are leaving. In fact, by 6, Dadiban Road, North industrial area, that stretch all the way from Malcolm Plus all the way to Times. You know where Times is? Fan Mill, Times, that whole stretch by 7 o'clock is virtually dead. Now, if any of the businesses there fall under 24-hour economy, and they begin to be, they are working 3 shifts and all that. What it means is that now trotros from Kaneshie or from Circle must continue plying
that route.
Exactly. And
what it also means is that the businesses along that route that will close at 7 because everybody goes.
But the trotro that he go close to. Go bed.
So
unless, of course,
those other guys providing food on that stretch from pens and plastics.
I think a lot of the arguments have actually been outside the public sector. You know why I said I'm waiting for the documents? I want to see the applicability within the domain of the public sector, public services.
Like
state-owned
passport
enterprises,
office and
passport offices. I want to
Charlie,
look at
those ones not the side.
But let's see. You've not seen we've not seen the policy.
Document,
yes.
Yeah.
So because as at now we can only speak based on his responses to some questions. And all of that.
Some of his, because I think I watched the interview given by Guzi Tando.
Okay.
And that threw a lot more light on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that would tell what really it entails. Then we can now see how things would go. Yeah.
All right. So let's move to number 8. Establish an Accelerated Export Development Council, AEDC, to promote export as part of the broader strategy for economic transformation.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we already have an export promotion council.
That's different from.
This is an Accelerated Export Development Council.
What do we have now? Ghana Export Promotion, is it authority?
No, Ghana Export Promotion is
authority now. Oh, yeah, listeners should say
it is a C that is in my mind.
No, I thought it's an E now. Find it for me. Because if it is there, then what happens to it? That's the only reason I'm looking for it. If there's something like that there, what would this do? Is it going to supersede this? Is it going to be merged into this? Is it going to be rebranded into this and all that? That is the only reason why I'm asking that. But if you can find me,
it's authority. Ghana Export Promotion.
Yeah, no, it's an A. GEPA, Ghana Export Promotion Authority. Good. Yes. So, what will be the relationship between GEPA and AEDC? Is something that probably would have to look at when they finally comes out, and we'll be able to speak to that. So yes, there's going to be an accelerated export development council. Any comments on export development council and all that? The importance of exports to what he has to achieve within his first 4 years.
Yeah, about exports.
Okay. The one is an authority, one is a council.
Yeah. So for me, I think it will. Ghana.
It will augment the services of the what the GEPA is already doing.
Yes, and most of the products we export, they are mostly in its raw nature and all that. And I don't know what GEPA does with respect to exporting standardized, product or something. I don't know if.
The thing about the export promotion authorities, councils, or whatever. What I know is a chunk of their work is opening up markets. A chunk of their work. I did some work with a Zimbabwean version of it. They are called Zim Trade. It's about opening opportunities in other jurisdictions for you. So Ghana Export Promotion organizes fairs around the world. A lot of Ghanaians don't know this, but that is true. So in tandem with our embassies, GEPA can say they are doing a Ghana trade fair in Estonia's capital is what? Tallinn or something. Or they are doing a Ghana trade fair in Baku, right? Baku is which one? Azerbaijan. Yeah. Good. They are doing a trade fair in Baku, and they will carry Banku and not Banku. Banku powder. They will carry Kondo and all that to Baku to go and showcase. So that is what I know they do. Okay. But this council, I don't know. But
I am just hoping that it will add value to our exports. It will work diligently.
For me, I want to see,
we need to see the document.
Yes, so I know, because, in the morning I was speaking about import substitution. The other hand is export promotion. That has an impact on so many things, including your foreign exchange reserves. So I just want to see what really is in.
I'm just hoping so.
Because I don't think Ghana's problem has been exports.
No.
We record
it's the value.
How do you call that thing? Import export
that is attached to our
surplus. Like, I don't know. I've forgotten the generic name for that. Interesting. Yeah, we've been recording trade balance surpluses over and over again. Yeah. And so I want to see what really is into that, so that we can have
no problem.
Deliberation.
So when the AEDC comes, we'll take a
but today it seems you are looking green. Your colors are. I'm
not seeing anything.
People is that not red and green and black?
Okay, so there are some. But is that green?
Yeah, that's green.
People of
he
God.
knows it's green. Look at the tie.
People of God.
Red and green and black.
They want to zooify me.
I want to suggest that he's trying to say the studio itself is green.
No, the studio is not green. The studio
he wants to zooify and zify me.
Purple or so.
Yeah. But gentlemen, thank you so much. Tomorrow we'll continue with a big one, a national consultative conference on education.
And the other one,
okay,
level 100 fees.
We'll get there. Tomorrow we'll
I'm
talk
also
education.
interested in that.
Tomorrow will be education. Today was trade and export. Yeah. Tomorrow is education. Any final words on
Yeah, my final words, the steadfast love of God never ceases. They are new every morning. God is ushering the whole country into a new season.
Our best days are yet.
With new leaders. Our best days are yet to come. Everyone should take heart. No one should leave the country.
Our best days are ahead of us.
Prosper this nation.
God will prosper this nation, said Osofo. Mr. Nyako.
I think it's a new wave, and there should be a new paradigm. Every Ghanaian should make that conscientious effort to be on board, because it's not like everyone should be on board. I'm sure this is something the Kufado's government also wanted. You understand? But at some point, we decided to be apathetic. And then, sometimes when governments force and they try to do something and it goes the other way around, we are also to blame. So we should all come on board. It's a new government that is coming, but everyone should be on board and then make Ghana great again.
Thank you very much, Eugene Yaku, Mr. Boateng, for joining me here. All too soon, it's about 4 minutes before we rush to the NYA, the brand. She's rushing in and she's settling in very soon, bringing you the brighter side. NYA, the brand, mid-morning's finest. She's bringing you the brighter side. But my time here is done. All too soon. I have to run. What else can I say but to once again leave you with the immortal words? Pray like it only depends on God, but please go work like it only depends on you. Have a good one, people. Tomorrow bring you the midweek edition of the Business Breakfast on Z.